My name is Sammy. I am the Events and Education Coordinator here at Goosefoot. So I teach these workshops. I work a lot closely with our businesses, on our social media a lot, and I do for a few other clients as well. So uh, if you haven't been to a Zoom webinar before, it is a little different than a meeting. I cannot hear or see you. You can only hear or see me. So please use the chat feature or the Q&A. Like I said, I do get notices for both, and I'll do my best to answer them. I've got it a little bit up here on screen, but unfortunately I can't fully see what you guys can. So if I have any windows in the way that's blocking something you need to see, please let me know and I'll fix it. Go ahead and type away at any time. I am sharing my entire screen, not just PowerPoint. So I'm happy to go into Facebook and actually show you guys how to do these things. One last caveat, this is intro to Facebook and it is for business. So if you're looking to pick up some Facebook tips for personal use, this isn't quite the right place. And if we're going along and you go, this is a little too intro level for me, I won't be offended if you head out. We do have advanced Facebook for business. I just taught that 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm not sure, time's a little fuzzy these days. And you can actually see that on our YouTube channel at any time. I will be sending out a link to that at the end of this workshop. So on that note, excuse the quarantine hair, it's getting a little fluffy, but we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So first off, some top golden rules that's really applicable to any social media, including Facebook. Figure out what sets you apart from the competition and play off that. Now, what I mean is there is something different that your business does than anybody else does. There's some, either your personality or the subject matter you cover or the quality, there's something different that you do than anybody else who works in your field does. What is that? That's what you should really be focusing in on your social media presence. Otherwise, if you just focus on the really broad, general, high level, I'm a restaurant, you're going to end up being really generic, really dull, and people aren't going to be able to connect to you at all. So you should really be building up either your own personality or the personality of the business in order to connect with those audiences that you're looking for on social media. You should also have a plan and a goal. A lot of folks get into social media just because that's what they've been told they should do, or that's what everybody else is doing. So I guess we're here now. But if you don't know what you want out of Facebook, you're going to end up just spending a lot of time on it and getting frustrated because you feel like you're not getting anywhere and you're not getting anything out of it. I talk to a lot of businesses who think, well, this is dumb. Why should I do this? Why are people on this? I don't like this. But if you know what you're trying to accomplish with the tool, if you know where you're hoping to go, you're going to be a lot more successful. I will admit straight out of the gate right now, you don't have to like Facebook. I don't personally use it. If you go look at my personal Facebook profile, I post maybe twice a year, maybe. But I use it constantly because I'm on it for Goosefoot and I'm on it for my clients' pages as well. So you can absolutely separate that in your brain. In fact, there are ways to lock it down so that your personal profile is totally private and you just focus on the business, whatever makes sense for you. But whatever you're trying to get out of it, you need to spell that out for yourself. Are you hoping to increase your sales? It's not necessarily a great place because, as the next bullet point says, don't force a hard sale. Nobody goes online to be sold at. We all have much better things to do with our times and be bombarded with constant ads. So if that's what you're looking for, that might not be the platform. I mean, ideally, it would help your sales overall, but that should not necessarily be your focus. Do you want to connect better with customers? Do you want to find out what they want? Do you want to stay top of mind to people? When I worked at the Economic Development Council, and indeed working here at Goosefoot, we don't have things to sell. We don't sell products. These classes are free. I think 99% of our events are free events, so there's no tickets or anything. I don't have anything I want you guys to buy, but I want you guys to be aware. I want to connect with the community. I want to make sure that we're top of mind when you're looking for something to do. Those are the kinds of goals that I have on our social media pages. Your goal is going to look entirely different depending on what your business is, but write that down and plot it out, how you get there, how many posts you're going to do, what kind of stuff you should talk about in order to reach that goal. You're going to have a much better time on Facebook, I promise. Covered the don't force a hard sale. As I said, nobody goes online to be sold at. People do shop from social media nowadays. If they see something that's interesting, that's worthwhile for them, they possibly will purchase it, but people go online to connect with others, to be entertained, to be educated. So that's the sort of focus you should have in your social media. You should be responsive to messages, comments, reviews, and customer posts. If somebody took time out of their day, and it does take a decent amount of time to, put these words down, to stop just endlessly scrolling or clicking the share without writing anything. It takes time to interact with each other. You should reward that, because when you reward behavior, you get more of it. So if somebody sent you a message, reply to them. You don't have to right away, but make sure you do reply to them when they send it to you, at least within 24 hours. If they left a comment on one of your posts, reply back to it, or at least like it at the very least. Same thing with reviews. If somebody made a post and tagged your business in it, especially if it was, hey, this was great, or look what the thing I got from them, go ahead and share that to your page, or at least comment on their post and say, hey, thanks so much. Glad you had a great time. Whatever it is that makes sense. But you're going to encourage that reaction if you give it back when people reach out to you. And you want to encourage that reaction because it is that connection that allows Facebook to show your posts to more people. If people are not commenting, liking, sharing your posts, Facebook is going to just stop showing it to people, even if they've liked your page. So you really desperately depend on those interactions in order to reach not only new people, but the people who have already liked your page. Keep in mind, I know this sounds so dumb and really obvious, but followers are people too. Like I said, I know that sounds dumb. A lot of businesses are like, well, yeah, what else would they be? But a lot of businesses, when I'm talking to them, they get so fixated on the numbers. I only have 30 followers. I only have 7 people liking my post. But it's not about the numbers. It's about the quality. So keeping in mind that those aren't just numbers, that there are human beings behind those numbers will help you make sure you stay focused on quality, worthwhile content. Hopefully it will calm you down if anybody starts to get riled up. And it will help you connect better with those people rather than just chasing some arbitrary goal or number. It takes time, consistency, and work to really be successful on Facebook. I have talked to a lot of businesses who've said, well, I've been here a month and nothing's happened, so why am I still doing this? That is not enough time to know that you're there, to know what kind of content people can get from you regularly, especially if you, like a lot of folks here on Whidbey Island, posted maybe 3 times in that month. Think about it this way. When you interact with a person that may be a potential friend, 3 conversations is not really enough to know them, especially if that conversation was a sentence or 2. And that's really all your Facebook posts are. So to build that relationship with people, you need to consistently talk to them. And whatever consistency looks like for you, I don't care. You could post once a day, you could post once a week, you could post once a month. As long as you're consistent about it, you have to give yourself time to put the effort into it, not only to make the post, but even coming to workshops like this, like you are right now. That will help you improve your usage and get better at it and get better at connecting with people. And you got to put the work in. There's no cheat sheet. There's no super easy way to just skip around it. You have to give yourself time to do the work of getting the quality pictures, of writing the quality copy, and posting it at a good, consistent time. I kind of harped on this point already, but the first word in social media is social. Facebook is not a soapbox for you to stand up and, shout your ideas into the void. That's what these workshops are for. Social media is about an exchange. It's about real person connection. So that's what you have to keep in mind. Anytime, it's a great platform for you to put your thoughts, ideas, and deeds out there, but it's also a great place for people to come back at you with it. So you have to be receptive to that, and you have to initiate that exchange. And also, I will talk about this a little bit, but you need to have a Facebook page, not a profile. So what that means is when you sign up for Facebook, you put in your name and your picture, your personal information. That is your profile. Your profile is you as an individual person. Everybody on Facebook has one. Once you have your profile, you can then create a page. Page is for business or organization use. You don't have the same name restrictions, whereas with a profile, you have to have a first name and a last name. Pages could have just one word. They could have lots of words. So the name restriction is gone. But it's also, there's a lot of things like ads and analytics that you can't access as a profile. You only get access to as a page. Not to mention, it is actually against Facebook's terms of service to use profile for business use. So what this means is if your business is set up as a profile right now, Facebook might not notice, but eventually they might one day, and they will just remove your entire account, all the posts you've ever made, all of your followers, everything. It'll just be gone, and you can't contest it because it was against the rules from the start. Whereas if you go ahead and set up a page, the rules are a little different between pages and profiles. You have more control over how people interact with you and how you interact with them. There's no limits. Like you can have up to 5,000 friends as a profile. There's no limit to likes on a page. So those are some golden rules. Again, if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask them at any time. But I'm going to go ahead and get into showing you how to set up a page. Oh, wait, sorry, I forgot. I have a couple of important quotes for you guys. First one comes up from Forbes. It says, Facebook isn't television. Its power lies not in reaching a large number of people at once, but instead in its ability to reach a small but highly curated audience. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier of it's people, not numbers. It doesn't matter how big of an audience you reach. It matters how effective you connect with the people who actually want to connect with you. Instead of just broadcasting to everybody you possibly could within a certain region or time frame or whatever, Facebook has so many tools at its disposal that you can really get focused and spend your time and money connecting with the people who actually want to connect with you. You're not going to be chasing after people who have no interest in you at all. You're instead letting people who are already looking for you know that you exist and you're there to help them. And even smaller quote, Bessie Yount from Facebook's own small and medium business engagement team said, "Tell the right story to the right audience." Basically the Forbes quote, just in a much shorter window. So getting into setting up a page, when you go to your actual Facebook page, you'll see up in the very top right corner is a little arrow that creates this drop-down menu here. So I'm actually going to go into Facebook to show you guys this. And at first, I think I'm beta testing a new version of Facebook. So my Facebook is going to look a little different than you guys. To freak you guys out a little less, I'm actually going to go ahead and switch it back to classic Facebook. So that old look is how Facebook is going to look for everybody in a couple months' time. But this is what yours probably looks like for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that arrow in the top right corner here. And here, let me highlight my cursor so you guys can follow it easier. It gives me a list of all the pages I run for now. I'm going to ignore all of that because you probably don't have that on yours. Right down here, we're going to go to Manage Pages. Or if you don't have Manage Pages, you might just have Create a Page available in that drop-down menu. I'm not sure. As you can see, I run way too many pages, and I have for a while, so I forgot what it looked like when you don't have a page. But Regardless if it's in that drop-down menu or here on this page, you're going to click create a page. And then from here, you can either select business or brand or community or public figure. Now the breakdown for these is really like 80% of pages are a business or brand, because that's just the majority of people who need a page. Community or public figures tends to be politicians, internet personalities, artists, things like that. And by artists, I mean like pop musicians and really like people who have like millions of followers. That tends to be this one. Business or brands tends to be the vast majority of businesses located here on would be. You can name your page whatever you want. Name this one test page, and you can come up with any sort of category you could possibly think of. If you're an artist, you can see there's a lot of options in here. Say you could even get more specific. You're a photographer, or a cupcake shop or a bakery. You can get as broad or as specific as makes sense for your business. So go ahead and fiddle with these as you need to. And you can also change your category later. You do not have to be set in stone on one. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick cupcake shop for this example just because it's fun. Then you're gonna enter an address. I'm gonna go ahead and enter Bayview Corner. Good example. Langley, Washington. Wait, oops, I hit caps lock. Excuse me if my keyboard is rather loud, but the mic is like right by it. You can enter a phone number if you have a public one. Any information you enter on Facebook is public. You have to enter your address because that helps you get focused on the region that you're trying to connect with. And you can actually hide it. As you can see, you could click don't show my address. But for everything else, your email, your phone number, your web address, if you don't want that stuff public, if you don't want anybody having access to it, don't put it on Facebook, because otherwise Facebook will make it visible. Then you go ahead and hit continue, and it very easily walks you through the steps. It will ask you a few more information here. It'll ask you for a profile picture. You could go ahead and upload one if you have one. If you don't, you can skip this and do it later. Same thing as the cover photo. If you have one all nice and ready, go ahead and upload it, but you can also skip it if you don't have one yet. Then it takes you boom to your page, and it walks you through these nice steps of what you should be setting up. Invite your friends to like your page, fill out your about section, and we're going to come back to this. So I'm going to go back to my presentation now for a sec. So as I mentioned earlier in the golden rules section, a profile is for personal use. Your page is for your business. This doesn't mean you can't share information about your page on your personal profile. It is your business after all, and you assumably do care about what the business is doing. But I think the rough breakdown is like maybe 40% of your posts on your profile should be about business. It should be mostly focused on your personal life and connecting with folks. So your page can be all about your business. There's not restrictions on that. You should make sure you claim your URL. So when you first start a Facebook page, I'm actually going to go ahead and cancel and go back again. You can see it strings it up kind of like this, where it's facebook.com/ the name of the page. Ours is test page. And then this huge like jumble of numbers there. That is really hard for people to type. It doesn't look nice. If you print it on something, it's hard to give people the link to that kind of a jumble of a URL. So if you, I'm gonna close these, over here, right under the name of your page is create page at username. So if you click that, you can create that custom URL. I bet I can't use test page. I'm sure it's taken. But so if you run into this problem where your business name is a little generic and you can't have it, believe it or not, Goosefoot is actually like this. I don't know who owns the @Goosefoot URL because it's not active, but it is already claimed. So in that case, we had to do Goosefoot Community Fund, which is the full name of our organization. But you could also even easily do something like test page would be, or test page Langley, whatever makes sense for your business. Once you're done, you can go ahead and create username. Now, if you haven't done this on If you have done it on your page and then you change the name of the page, whatever, if this option isn't showing up here, you can also change that in your About section. So if you go to About and right under the map of where you're located, it's got the category, the name of your page, and your username. This is where you can edit the name of your page at any time. You can edit your category at any time. I told you when you were setting up your page, you can change it. You can also add up to 3. So if you're someone who has like multiple areas of interest, I think Goosefoot's really hard on this because we just do like a bajillion really different kinds of things. But say I was creating one for my business, I would do web design and marketing and social media, or maybe graphics design, or I can pick up to 3. You can add those at any time in your About section. And then again, you can set your username or change it if you need to change it for any reason down the road. Keep in mind that if you change the username though, anywhere you have your Facebook page linked, in your newsletter, on your website, if anybody else, such as a Chamber of Commerce, links to your Facebook page, that link would now be broken. So I would really discourage changing this username other than initially setting it up. Whatever it is on, leave it there unless you completely change the organization, because then you're probably going through all the steps of changing that with everybody anyway. So that's your About section. At the top, I think I have this later on the slide, but make sure you fill out this entire section as much as you can. This information lets people know more about you and your organization, but it also really helps with the search engines. Search engines can only pull up what text exists on the internet. So if somebody is looking for a woodworker on Whidbey, unless your business name is woodworker on Whidbey, you're going to have to include those words somewhere else. Even with this test page, my address right now is at 5603 Bayview Road, but if somebody was looking for test shop on Whidbey, currently nowhere on my page does the word Whidbey exist. So if that was an important search term for me, I would need to make sure I either include it in the About section or my story or somewhere else on this page, because that is where people can read it and that is where the search engines can pull it from. Obviously, some of these you're just not going to have. I know not everybody has a website, so skip that if you don't have it. I know not everybody likes their email address being out and available to the public. Don't put that on the page if you don't want people to have access to it. But if you want it to be accessible, if you want people to know it, make sure you fill it out on this page here, okay? Also, as you can see here, if you are a restaurant, you can add your menu. There's also other categories. Services can add their services. If you set your page up as a shopping page, you can add your products. There's different things you can fiddle with, but we'll get into settings later. And then I also cover it in other workshops as well. So use the call to action button. So I don't know if you guys noticed back when we were on that test page, but in the bottom right corner, I don't know if my camera slipped, it might be over here, but on the bottom right corner of your cover image is a button. When you are looking at your own page, if you haven't set the call to action button up, it will just be, it is a long blue button that says add a button. And when you click on it, you get these options. You can do, book now, contact us, donate, play a game, shop now, sign up, watch video. There's a few different options. They change these pretty consistently. And unfortunately, you can't set it up for your own. You do have to pick one of these. And when you go into say contact us, you actually get to set the option of call you or email you. But you're gonna go ahead and fill that out, and that'll give people a nice convenient call to action button right at the top of the page that encourages them to do whatever you most want them to do. You can actually even prompt people to send you a message if you'd like to keep them on Facebook and Messenger. If you do not have this set up and someone goes to your page, that button just won't be there, which means you are missing prime real estate. So please go ahead and use that if you haven't already. And lastly, your cover photo, that big gigantic picture at the top of your page. that is prime real estate. It should be like a billboard for you. You should be advertising whatever is most important, and you should change it regularly. One of the biggest, tragic wastes of space I've seen with most businesses doing is their cover photo is, say, the front of their store. That is so boring. It's okay to do that occasionally, especially if you have really cool window displays, something really cool visible on your storefront that would catch people's attention. Or say if you just moved to a new location or opened a new building, that might be a good reason to put in a cover photo of it so that people can start connecting with that building. So when they come to see you in person, they're like, oh, that's where I'm going. But otherwise, find something else to share. There are so many ideas for what kind of cover photos you can use. Here's just a few simple ones. Koa was doing a giveaway back in 2018 when I put the slide together. So they were advertising the current giveaway. And if you scrolled down on the page, the pinned post at the top of the page was actually talking about more information. Or if you clicked on it and it pulled it up as a photo, the description was next to it with the same information. Papa John's, they change theirs every week because they have different ads every week, but theirs is the latest and greatest ads and special that they're advertising. You can see this bottom corner one, Top Rank Marketing, was promoting their business as a whole. This is very billboard-like in that it's not promoting a specific service or a specific event, but just, hey, this is our cool business. Oreo took a different route. They were actually promoting user-specific birthdays. So they were actually drawing people who followed their page. They would draw one of them each day for their birthday, and they would make a cover photo with their picture and their first name and last initial. You can't see Kayla because that's where my video is right now, but you can see there's so much stuff you can do. I will admit I'm a little guilty of this right now. I'm a little behind. If you go to Goosefoot's Facebook page, our cover photo is still Earth and Ocean Month, which ended on April 30th. So I need to update that. But it is about a relevant current event. So, profile picture, that is the little picture in the top corner, and it sits next to every single post you make. Keep it simple. It really has to be distinguishable from a distance. When somebody is looking, say, on their phone, and most people's phones are much smaller than mine, it's so small that if it's anything too complex, too confusing, people will not understand what the picture is of. So it's got to be distinguishable at a small size or from a distance. It really should be something like your logo, or if your business doesn't have a logo, your main product is a good idea. And it could even just be a part of it. As you can see in the top corner of this presentation, the Goosefoot logo is really wide and really short. That does not work well on pretty much any social media where the profile picture tends to be pretty square. Because if I got all of that in it, it would be so small that you couldn't even see what it is. So what I actually do for Goosefoot's is I just take a square around the Ripple G part of it, and I only use that for our profile picture. Your profile picture should rarely, if ever, be changed. Think about it this way. If you've ever had, a radical haircut change in your life, how many people could not recognize you? The same thing with profile pictures. Some people will see your name and they'll say, oh, I know what business this is. But every time you change your logo, it's like completely changing your look. So keep your profile picture the same as much as you can, unless you're drastically rebranding your entire business. And then hopefully you have a good plan for that anyway. So there are a lot of different types of posts you can make. You can make sales posts where you're talking about the product or you're offering a sale on something, coupon codes, that sort of thing. You absolutely can do that occasionally because at the end of the day, you're still a business and you do need to make money, and presumably the people who are interested in your business are interested in you because of the product or service. So you absolutely can talk about those occasionally. It just shouldn't be the majority of your content. You can have interactive content where you're really encouraging people to leave a comment below the post, or like it, or share it, leave their own thoughts, make their own posts and tag you in it. You're encouraging them to do something with what you're providing them. And then to bring it back to you as well. You can share user-generated content. So say somebody else took a picture of your product or service, they made a post talking about how much they loved the experience or they loved the product, and they tagged you in it, or even if you just came across it. Always ask them for permission, just to be nice, but you can absolutely share content made by other people. This really serves two big functions. One, it encourages that behavior from the person who did it and others. People like to be acknowledged for the content that they put out into the world. So when someone shares it, and you share their content, it gives them a warm, glowy feeling and encourages other people to do it because they want that same kind of attention or interaction. But it also saves you time. That is one less post that you have to think up and work. So it's pretty win-win whenever it does happen, in my opinion. You can share behind the scenes posts. So this is letting people know, how does stock day work for you? Where do you get your products? How do you make decisions? What's coming up for the business? What goes on behind the curtain that they might not see just walking into your business? People love to know how the sausage is made. They love seeing what goes on behind the scenes. So don't be afraid to share that with them. People are really enthusiastic to see how things are made, where they come from, and who you as a business are. So don't be afraid to talk about it. You'll see that in the prevalence of shows like How It's Made. So you can also do product use suggestions, especially if you have a product that could be used in a really interesting and unique way that people might not think about. Going back to my Oreos example earlier, they have really great posts showing you how to do kids games with Oreos or make Oreo cake pops, that sort of thing. A unique, fun, interesting way to use their product that's not just open the bag and eat it. You can do cross promotion. So spoiler alert, you are allowed to talk about people who are not yourself because your business does not exist in a bubble. It's not all about you all the time. There are other people that are impacted by you or that you impact or impact you. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. So you can talk about them as well. What events are going on in the area that you're really excited about? Do you have a next door neighbor that you work pretty closely with? Is there another business that you're collaborating with, or one that you just appreciate? Especially if you're a tourism-centric business, visitors rarely come to a place just to visit one thing. They'll come because they're really excited about you, but once they've done that, now what? Where do I go to eat? What do I do for fun? Where's a good place to stay? All of those questions are things you could absolutely provide the answer for on your social media, especially if it's something you're genuinely passionate about, because the internet really does respond to genuine passion. So don't be afraid to talk about other businesses. It's great if you can get them to talk about you as well, but it's not, required for you to be willing to talk about others. So keep in mind, it's not all about you all the time. You can post about events. I could probably get at least 5 posts out of a single event. I can get a save the date post letting people know, hey, this is a thing that is going to be happening. I can do a reminder post a month out, a week out, a day out, whatever kind of event it is, on what scale. I can do posts of setup. I can do posts taken during the actual event, reminding people that it's currently happening, how they can get involved, how much fun people are having. And then I can do at least one post as a wrap up afterwards. Just letting people know, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for making this happen. Here's pictures of it. Not to mention if you're a nonprofit or any sort of a business who has sponsors or donors, those are even more posts you can make. Even if you're not putting on an event, say you're going to a trade show or some kind of conference, you can share posts about that event, about how you get ready for it, why you decided to go to it, what you learned while you were there, who you met, all of those are posts you can absolutely share and people are genuinely interested in the content. You can also share stories, your own story. Why did you get into this? Why are you doing it? Stories of your customers. How did it shape or impact their lives? What funny thing happened on the way to your business? You can share the stories of the community around you. You can share the stories of your building. Some of our most popular posts on the Bayview Corner social media is talking about the history of the space and the community and the buildings. People like to know stories. And occasionally you can share viral content as well. These are the funny pictures and videos that get passed around a lot. You can occasionally share those on your business page, especially if they have something actually exclusively, if they have something to do with your business or your customers. Don't rely too heavily on it. If you oversaturate with videos, the thing about viral content is it's viral because a lot of people have already seen it. So chances are a lot of your audience has already seen it and they're already bored with it. So don't inundate them too much or they're going to get bored and unfollow you. So if you guys have any questions on types of posts you can make, let me know. I'm going to turn my light on really quick because it's getting kind of dark on me. Excuse me, Fat. Didn't really help, but that's the fun thing of doing evening workshops. So some more things on posts. You are absolutely allowed to repost or recycle popular content. Don't think, hey, I did a thing and people really liked it. All right, that's over. It's okay to share it again, to share it, once a year or quarterly. There's such a thing as Throwback Thursdays where you can highlight something that's already happened. Because the thing is, one, a lot of people aren't online at the same time. So even though it was really popular in general on your page, that doesn't mean everybody saw it. You might have new followers. You might have people that just weren't around at the time you posted it last time. Facebook might have not have shown it to them for whatever reason. So don't be afraid to share it again. But also, people forget. I can't tell you how many times I've read a story online or an article, or I've laughed at something and then I went to share it or like it and the site was like, oh, you've already done that. I'm like, I don't remember seeing this at all. So, okay, I'll believe you, but I don't remember. Not everybody remembers everything, so it's okay to share stuff again. You can definitely experiment with different kinds of content and posting types. If you are looking back at that list on the previous slide, being like, I don't know what people would find interesting. I'm not that interesting. Just try it and see. There have been multiple times where my boss Marion said, hey, do this on our page. And I kind of pushed back or put it off because I'm like, that's dumb. No one's going to like it. It's not going to go anywhere. That makes no sense. And she kept reminding me. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then it went crazy and I was not expecting it because not everybody has the same taste as me. Not everyone has the same opinion as me. I'm not always looking at something correctly. So the only way you're going to figure out what works for you, your audience, and your brand is if you try different things and see where it lands. Excuse me. Same thing with posting times. A lot of folks ask me, when's the best time to post? And my answer always to their frustration is, I don't know. Because there isn't one solid best time to post. It's different for everybody. You need to post when your fans are online. If you are a business-to-business type of organization, best time for you to post is going to be Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 or 8 to 5, because that's when your clients are at their computers looking for the information you're providing. If you are looking to connect with the general public and consumers, that can get even more muddied. Are you trying to connect with stay-at-home moms? Are you trying to connect with teenagers, retired folks, working, I don't know, somebody in their 50s or 40s? Those are all on at very different times and very different days. And the only way to know what's successful is to post at different times, keep track of your analytics, and see what's successful for you and your audience. If that time is outside of your normal hours, for example, I don't normally work after 6 for Goosefoot. My hours are usually 10 to 6 with them. But Some of our best posting time is Sunday at 6 o'clock. I don't want to log in on Sunday. That's my day off. What I do is I sit down on Friday and I schedule posts out for the weekend or for hours that I'm not in the office. Or even better, I will actually usually sit down on 1 or 2 days and schedule posts out for the entire week so that I don't have to keep coming back to it and thinking about it. You can absolutely do that. Facebook has tools on Facebook itself that allow you to schedule. If you didn't know how to do that, let me show you that really quick. So we're on our test page. If you just go and type a regular post in on your page, as it's thinking about actually letting me see it, your only option really is post. Depending on how updated your page is, you might also have save as draft, but most of the time you're just going to have this post button. So to get to scheduling, you actually have to go to publishing tools. And I'll give you the caution now, this white bar at the top of the page changes order for every single page I've ever been on. It's completely infuriating because all the pages I own, I have to go hunting for it every time. But so for this site, it's right here on this top white bar. For a lot of others, it's hidden under more. But I'm gonna go ahead and click publishing tools. That is what you're looking for, publishing tools. It defaults to published posts, but if you see over here on the sidebar, scheduled posts is the second option. So if you go to scheduled posts and create a post, now it looks like the same post builder you're used to seeing, where you can type, you can pick a colored background if you want, you can add photos and videos, anything like that. And then once you've made your post, now the button instead of post says schedule post. And you can actually pick a suggested time, which isn't available for this page because it's brand new and it has no data. But if I went onto a page like Goosefoot, it would actually give me that option because it's been around long enough that Facebook knows a good suggested time for me. Or I could have a lot of control and set a custom time, so a specific day and a specific time. So this scheduling tool saves my life so many times. There's also some outside tools I'll show you in a future slide that also give you scheduling options, but this is really how you do it within Facebook. When you're making your posts, focus on quality over quantity. You'll see a lot of posts online if you go searching for how often you should post on Facebook that tell you you should be posting like 5 or 10 times a day. Don't do that, especially around here on Whidbey Island. Things are a lot quieter, they're a lot slower. If you post that frequently, people are going to get annoyed and they're going to unfollow you. Not to mention, most companies that do post that frequently, they are paying at least one person, if not multiple, to just do that. You as a small business owner probably don't have that much funds. It's probably just you or one employee that's doing it for you. So what you really need to do is, I don't care how often you post. You could post once a week, you could post once a month. As long as those posts are quality, so they are of interest or entertainment value, they give something to the audience that they really want, less, something you really want them to have. The best kind of post is one that matches both needs, but make sure you have good quality pictures. You take the time to slow down, take the picture again, take it from a better angle, really get a good quality picture. You spend time actually reading over your words and make sure you spelled everything right, that it makes sense. Could you say it shorter? If you're like me, that's my biggest problem. I'm very verbose. I like to talk a lot, if you haven't noticed from these workshops. So I actually type a lot when I'm working on a post, and then I go back and edit a bunch of it out because shorter does better on social media. But focus on that quality and don't rush yourself in getting X number of posts out every single day. Whatever makes sense for you, as long as you do it well. But also give yourself the leeway to get better at it. You're not going to be an internet sensation overnight. You're probably going to post things that are boring or weird or dull when you're first getting started. It takes time for you to get better at this, so you got to give yourself permission to be bad when you first start. when you're making a link post, say to a product on your page or a news article or somebody's specific website, when you post that link in there, and Facebook auto generates a box with a picture pulled from the page and the link in a gray box down below the picture. Once that has populated, you can then remove the text of the link from the post and type whatever you want. So let me show you guys how that works. And the reason it's so important is when you leave link text in the post box, it doesn't look very nice. It's very unappealing. So, and it drives people away. So this is why you really have to do it. So say I'm going to write a post and I'm going to share this article. This sounds fun. So I've copied the link. Now I'm going to go ahead and go over to the post and paste that link. And now immediately, as you can see, the image populated from the top of that article and the box with the opening intro, the URL, and a link to the article. This has now populated. Now I can delete this and the link stays there. So now I can type whatever I want. It doesn't go away. It's still accessible, but that really ugly, really long URL is now gone. So if you're sharing something, paste it, let it populate, and get rid of it. It just doesn't look nice and it drives people away. However, that does come with the caveat of this only works for one link per post. So if you're linking to multiple things in a single post, it will only pull the first link. If you really, really need multiple links in a single post, go ahead and leave them. It will, shorten them and it'll be accessible later in the post, but it only does this for the first link. Most of your posts are really, if you do need to link, are only going to have one link anyway. So if you have a post that is really important for everybody to know, be it, new opening news, closing news, say you have new hours due to COVID-19, say you're hiring, say you have a product release date coming up, whatever it is, something that whatever you've most recently talked about, you really would like people to know this information first and foremost whenever they go to your page. You can pin that post at the top of the page. So every single page, every single post at the very top right corner has these 3 dots. And if you click on them, then a little drop-down menu appears and the second option is pin to top, or pin this post, I think. I'm not sure which one it says. That will put it at the top of your of your page, sorry, not your news feed, but your page. When somebody goes directly to facebook.com/your page, that is the first post they will see, even if you've posted more things more recently. You don't have to use it if you don't have anything that's super pinnable, important information. You can also change that pinned post at any time, but you can only have one pinned post. So keep that in mind. You guys are a quiet bunch, not much questions. So a few more things on posts and then I promise we'll move on. Keep it personal. People don't connect with businesses. They don't trust businesses. They don't trust big brands. They trust other human beings. They want to connect with other human beings. And the biggest benefit you as a small business owner has over any big corporation is that you are a person. And for a lot of you, your business is you. It is your personality. It is your thoughts. It is your dreams. It's your desires. So it's okay to share yourself with people through the filter of your business. Obviously, you can keep things private that you need to keep private, but you should be looking to connect with people as other people, not as a business hoping to connect with people. Here's some good quotes for that. People want to get to know you, your story, and why you're in business. This comes from Jordan Lohr of Wishpond, which is a huge consulting firm, so they really know what they're talking about. Another big consulting firm, Cave Social. You need to be social on social media. It's not a soapbox. It was built for individuals to connect. That is the focus. So keep that in mind when you're making your posts. So next up is images. Images, be this pictures, videos, anything like that, are 40 times more likely to be shared than just a text post. People tend to scroll past just text and they stop and they look at pictures and then they'll go back and read the text that's above it. So if you can, include a picture with your post. Even if you don't have a picture because it's an abstract thought that you're expressing or you just don't have a picture yet, you can use free stock images to get a good picture that goes with the feel of your post. Do not use Google Images. Google Images are very frequently copyrighted, and you could get in a lot of trouble for using those without permission. So I would actually recommend, if you don't have images of your own and you can't work with a professional to make images for you, you can use free stock image sites like Pixabay or FreePic. I have links to these at the end of the presentation, so don't worry about remembering the name. But these are really cool, really robust sites that photographers put their real images on, and they've given blanket permission for anybody to use. And they have really high quality, really big variety. So please feel free to check out those, or you can even use sites like Shutterstock that don't have too very high of a cost. So go ahead and explore the internet, just stay away from Google Images because most of those are copyrighted. And if you do set it to labeled for reuse, a lot of those aren't very good quality. You can share viral memes or images with text or whatever. It's funny if a lazy way to gain some additional views or shares, but if you rely on it too much, people will lose interest because, as I mentioned before, the reason they're viral is everybody's already seen them, and there are entire pages dedicated just to posting those sort of things. So they have other places to get it from. They don't need it from you. And then when you post a link, as I showed you, the picture pops up automatically, but for some pages, it will pull multiple pictures, and then you can go ahead and click all of them off except for the one you think is the best one you want to use with it. This doesn't pop up every single time, but and sometimes you might want the carousel ad where it has multiple pictures, but for most things, if you're going to post a link and it gives you multiple options on pictures, I would just pick one of those to go with. Oops, I went back the wrong way. Ha. Videos are 0.9% of all posts on Facebook, but they account for 7.5% of all reach. Facebook loves video. Both the users love video and Facebook itself really loves video. It's really trying to promote the video use of its platform. So you are very highly encouraged to post videos to Facebook, whether it's just videos of you talking to the camera, a short video that you filmed of something out in your environment or your product or in your shop, whatever. And the important thing with this is that you need to post it natively to Facebook. Several years ago, the wisdom was when you had a video, you needed to upload it to like something like YouTube and then post the link to that on Facebook. Facebook really wants you to put your videos on Facebook where people can watch it on Facebook. So they've turned YouTube links into embedded posts just like all of the others, where it has a single image and then the gray box below. You can't actually watch a YouTube video on Facebook. And Facebook does not push it as much as they push videos out to the users. So if you filmed a video and you really want eyeballs on it on Facebook, put it on Facebook. If you do make a video, make sure you add captions or some sort of descriptive text. 90% of all viewers on Facebook watch a video without sound. So they can't hear anything that's going on in the video unless they manually choose to click to turn on the sound, and very few users do. It makes sense if you think how people use Facebook. They're scrolling through it while they're at work and they're not supposed to be on Facebook. They're looking at it at dinner when, once again, they're not supposed to be on Facebook. They're scrolling through it while they're watching TV or video, and there's already sound somewhere else that they don't want to conflict with. So something has to be really intriguing for them to go ahead and turn the sound on. You have to have already engaged them before they ever hear anything in the video. So if you're gonna make a video for Facebook, Make sure it makes sense without any sound. There are a lot of programs on the internet that will help you caption your videos or will help you make descriptive text videos. The preferred length of Facebook videos is only about 30 seconds to a minute and a half. So it's not even that much. You do not have to get too overwhelmed. Well, I can't film a video. That's just way too much. Videos are easier than ever because all of our phones have cameras on them now. And all you have to do is point it at yourself and talk to it. I promise it's not too hard. And I actually have an entire video on doing videos, on internet videos. It was one of our crash courses I did back in April. And again, that is available on our YouTube channel right now if you want to go check that out. But don't let videos intimidate you. They're not so scary. They're very easy to make these days. They're very engaging for people when they see them. So go ahead and do them. And if you are brave enough to do it live like me, live videos get boosted automatically and receive 3 times the views. So what this means is anytime you select go live on your Facebook and it turns that camera on, it lets everybody know who follows your page that you are currently live. Like it actually gives them a notice about it. So it gets more immediate eyeballs on your thing and they're very engaging. And live videos should actually be up to 10 minutes or even more. Live videos are meant to be longer form ways to talk to people. And obviously you don't have to worry about the captions or anything because you can't caption or descriptive text a video live. That's just not how it works. So there's videos. Again, if you have questions on those, we have a whole video on videos, online videos on the Goosefoot YouTube page. So make sure you interact with folks. I meant to take this section out, just the very responsive badge. I don't even think it's vital anymore. People interact with your business or they won't. This was a big thing Facebook was pushing and you only got it when you responded to people really quickly. But it's also come to light that you have a life and you're not on Facebook 24/7 to answer people whenever they feel like it. So this used to be very, very important. I think Facebook is getting rid of this over time. So don't worry too much about getting the very responsive badge, but you should still respond, like comments, posts, and reviews. Whenever somebody reaches out to you, reach back and connect that circuit, connect with other people. Encourage them to keep talking to you and keep talking to each other, because especially in this time, we need that human interaction because we're just not getting it in person. So respond to people when they reach out to your business, because then they will keep reaching out, which tells Facebook that you are interesting and worthwhile, and they should keep showing your stuff to other people. So make sure you interact. You can encourage reviews. Facebook has a review system built into it. And it is well within their terms of service for you to encourage reviews, both in person and digitally. So when you see people say, hey, if you enjoyed this, will you please leave a review on our page? Make a post on Facebook reminding people that leaving a review on your business is helpful. If you send out electronic receipts for anything you do, put it at the bottom of the receipt. Like this, please leave a review on Facebook. The only way people can know a business is trustworthy is if other people have weighed in on that. Your word only goes so far, but other people's words go much farther. So encourage those reviews. And let me show you guys how to do a review on Facebook if you haven't seen it already. I'm going to close this. I have to go to somebody else's page, not mine. Langley Chamber of Commerce, great. So as you can see right here, 5 out of 5 based on the opinion of 11 people. So if I click on that, it'll show me all of their reviews, but it also gives me the option to leave a review as well. So encourage folks to do that. It's genuinely that easy. You can also link people to it. It's genuinely just facebook.com/yourbusinesspage/reviews. So encourage folks to use it. And the most important part of reacting, and I know this is going to sound super hokey, but I genuinely believe it, is that you need to have fun. You need to have fun with your social media. You need to have fun when you're responding to people. Nobody likes to go to the party and hang out with the person in the corner that's grumbling about everybody else. It's just not fun. If you hate it, people are going to pick up on that. Find a way, whether that be silly little posts, whether that be inside jokes with yourself or your staff or a few key customers, whether that's not taking yourself seriously and posting a funny selfie or a dog picture or whatever. Find ways to have fun with it, because at the end of the day, that's what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be fun. If you really, really cannot have fun with it, if you just hate it and nothing is ever going to change your mind, hire someone else to do it for you. Get an employee to do it that enjoys it. But really, you need to find a way to have fun with it. Excuse me, talking a lot dries my mouth out. And I'm sure the clicking sounds in my mouth aren't fun. So groups are a tool that Facebook uses to group people together, person to person, without necessarily focusing on a specific business. Plenty of you are probably in groups. I know I am in ones like, Buy South would be Buy Sell Trade, or Alert would be, or Woodby Island Backyard Gardeners. There's so many groups on so many different subjects. So you could join existing groups for ideas, advice, camaraderie, whatever. There are groups out there for pretty much every industry you are in, and you can find people in the same boat as you, tossing about for ideas just like you, coming up with great ideas that you would also love to do. I'm in a really cool nonprofit storytelling group, and it is just a bunch of nonprofit marketing professionals tossing around ideas. So that is always a lot of fun. And you can find one for yours, whether you're in food, retail, service industry, whatever. There are ones out there that can help you connect with people. You can also create a group for your business, and you can use it to offer exclusive offers or content for the most valuable customers. So say you have a VIP program and you create a group just for those people, so they can talk to each other and they can get exclusive information. You can use it to build community so that it's not just you talking all the time. It puts everybody on a level playing field so they can talk to each other and every post shows up equally. Because you can post on another business's page, but no one else is going to see that unless the business shares it. You can use it to provide customer service. I've only really seen large organizations like airlines or banks do it this way. They have groups just for providing customer service. But you could also do it to get feedback. So are you thinking about this or that, or a new product line, or different colors? If you have an established group, you could definitely go to them with these kind of questions to get feedback on. Whatever you do with your group, you should really avoid self-promotion, because again, nobody goes online to be sold at. It's just not interesting. It's not what people are there for. So don't do that as the focus of whatever you're doing in the group, because you're going to lose people pretty quickly. It comes off as very selfish, very narrow-minded, and not useful for anybody else. So that's groups. You can find them very easily in the search feature. Just type in whatever you're thinking, and you can actually select on the sidebar menus. You can select from people, pages, or groups. So getting into ads. Ads aren't really for the hard sell either. Obviously, you can absolutely do ads to sell something. You'll see a lot of Facebook ads if we scroll down my Facebook feed right now. How long does it take us to get to an ad? Not long at all, because they're right here on the side. So these are clearly both selling something. They want you to buy their product. Same thing with this one. This is buy our plugin, give you 20% off. But they don't all have to be like this. So some of these can just be informative, letting people know that this is a thing that exists. Goosefoot runs a lot of ads that aren't selling anything, because again, we don't have anything to sell, but we just want to reach more people with more information. So the thing about reach This is your post getting in front of people so they can actually see it. Organic reach, this is reach that you didn't have to pay for, that you didn't have to do anything special with. You just made a post normally and it got out to people. It is plummeting. It went from 16% in 2012 to 1.2% in 2018. I believe now it's down to about 0.6%, somewhere around there. What that means is if you have 100 followers nowadays, on average, 6 people will see what you posted. That can make it feel really rough. Hopefully that made a light bulb go off in some of your heads if you already have a Facebook page where you go, oh, it's not that your posts are terrible. It's that Facebook refuses to show it to anybody. The almighty algorithm, they won't explain how it works. It is a computer system that decides whether or not people should see your content, even though those people have explicitly told Facebook they want to see your content by liking your page. There's only so much space on the news feed. And so Facebook is prioritizing content from friends and family and not showing as much posts from businesses. This makes it really hard for you guys because even if people have liked your page, they're not gonna, most of them are not actually going to see your content unless they physically go to your page. So running an ad can get people's eyeballs on it again because it actually gets it in their news feed so that they're seeing the stuff you posted again. It could also draw more people to your page in general for click-through. Could reach new people. It could reach existing people who don't normally see your content anymore. You can get them to go click on the website or buy a thing, whatever it is. But ads just get it in front of more people. If you've ever run an ad, Facebook and Instagram share the same highly intuitive ad system. So that's the thing about Facebook ads is it's so easy to use. And it's so nice to be able to highly target it. And you can actually create an ad for either platform or both at the same time. So you could make an ad on Facebook, but actually just run it on Instagram or run it on Facebook and Instagram at the exact same time. So the thing about ads are so easy. They're so much easier than you may have ever thought. And yes, I'll get this out of the way right now. I have had folks ask me in the past, do I think ads are necessary? Yes. Facebook in this day and age has very much become a pay-to-play sort of system. You've got to pay at least a little bit to get in front of people. That's just the sad reality of how the platform works. The good news is it does not have to be an exorbitant amount. It's not like a newspaper ad where you're spending, $100 for something the size of a business card. You can set how much you want to pay for how long and how many people you want to reach and who you want to reach. You can do an ad for as little as $1 a day. So it really doesn't have to be an exorbitant amount, but I do genuinely believe you have to put a little bit of money into Facebook. I know it sucks, but that is my honest opinion. So the easiest way to do an ad, and I'm sure you've all seen it on your page. I'm going to go to Goosefoot's page for this example. As you can see, I need to change the banner. And yes, I know I have the dates wrong. So scrolling. This is currently being boosted. And it shows it's reached 330 people so far, 16 post engagements, 5 likes, 2 share. Great. This is also boosted. Marion's on a boost spree right now. It's all part of our plan so that people can see this information, but let me scroll until I find a post that's boostable. All right, so this class, intro to Facebook. Say I wanted to boost this so that more people saw this class. Bad idea because we're more than halfway through, but for some reason say I wanted to. You'll see right here at the bottom of the post, this one says boost event because again, it's an event, but if it's a regular post, you'll see the words boost post. If you click on that, it opens up the boost feature. So as you can see, you do have a restriction on how much text you can include with a picture of the ad. However much words up here, it's totally fine. There's really not a limit to that. It's the text on the picture itself that will stop it. can't use more than 20% words, I think, on a picture. So this one probably actually wouldn't run because I'm pretty sure this is at least half of the picture is words. And it's not just the text, it's also the logo, which includes text. Or if you put a big old watermark over the top of your picture and it's text-based, that can also negatively impact, and this ad might not run at all. Cancel ad. Let's go back up and do the edit so you guys can see this. So now I've clicked on Boost and it's gone ahead and opened this. There's a lot of different formats. I can do image, video, or slideshow if I want to do multiple images. I can go ahead and set the image here. As I mentioned earlier, you can do as much text as you want, but it recommends fewer than 90. You can either obey this or you can completely ignore it. It will just cut it off into a ... read more after 90 characters, but you don't have to listen to this part. You can type whatever you want here in your text. You have to tell Facebook now, this is a new rule, but you have to tell them if the ad is related to credit or employment or housing offers. You have to let them know if it's that, because there are a lot of restrictions nowadays. But for most of you, you're going to leave that blank. So you've got your picture, you've got your text, and then you're going to come down here to the audience. So the default is people who you choose through targeting, and it defaults to either the entire US or Washington state, and then the entire age range of 18 to 65 plus. You can go as low as 13. The highest you can go is 65 plus, because at that point it just kind of lumps everybody in together. You could also choose people who like your page, and their friends, people in your local area. This is really nice because you can set it to living or just actually physically in your area. So say you're a restaurant and you wanted to run an ad about your lunch special. You might want to target people in Langley, but you don't necessarily want to target people who live in Langley, because then you might be getting people who, yeah, they live there, but they work at Boeing. So they're not there during lunch. So if you use it to target people who are physically in the area, you're going to get tourists who maybe live in Florida, but are walking around in downtown Langley and wondering what they should have for lunch. Obviously not right now, but when things open up again, that will be an option again. You can also set up specific audiences if you want. If you're interested in that, I have a whole class on it again, as you might have guessed, and we're actually going to be doing a class on social media boosts, another 2-hour workshop like this. And that one's going to be in, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. So if you click on edit next to people who you choose through targeting, you can get it specific on the gender if you want. Like I said, you can go as low as 13, as high as 65 plus. So say you had alcohol that you were advertising, you would want to start that one at 21, because somebody under 21 couldn't buy it. Like I said, it defaults to Washington state, but that's a little broad for me. I don't want to reach everybody. So I want to reach, you can do specific zip codes so that it highlights, you know, only within this zip code. Or you could also do cities, and then it will actually gives you a radius around that city. So you can go as low as 10 miles around, or you can go as high as 50. The trick with the radius is, as you can see here, it does cause a unique problem because we live on an island. Within a 10-mile radius of Freeland is South Camino. Yeah, they're only 10 miles away, but it's about an hour-long drive for them to go all the way up and around and onto the island. They're unlikely to make this trip. So when I'm really trying to reach people on Whidbey, I tend to stick to zip codes. But I will do radiuses around for Seattle or Bellingham, because I want to reach more people than just that zip code, especially with Seattle, because there's about 6 zip codes in Seattle alone. So you have a lot of options there, and you can play with them as you need to. And then you can get into targeting behaviors and interests. So you can do stuff as far as like parents, just the interest of parent or working parents or helicopter parents. You can also do demographics. So all parents, parents with adult children, parents with teenagers, preteens, early school age children, preschoolers, new parents. You know, if you're a boutique children's clothing store, how cool would it be for you to be able to reach new parents in, 98260 and 98249 and 98253 and 98236 and 98239. So there. As you can see, it's warning me right now that this is too specific. You can somewhat ignore that because obviously, reaching 1,000 people would be great for you. And it's the people you actually want to reach. For some of you, you might need to fiddle with this a little bit more so that you can get into what they decide is good enough. If you click on suggestions, it will actually give you suggestions based on what you've already typed and what your business is about. And the more stuff you add, it will get, better and better. So there you go. I just added entertainment and food and wine, and now I've reached 11,000 people. Great. Once you've got that good, you hit save. Then down here is your budget. So this is where you tell them, this is how much I want to pay, and this is how long I want it to run. Like I said, you have to spend at least $1 a day, but I don't think there's really an upper limit to how long you can run an ad. In fact, you could run stuff continuously, or you could pick a specific end date. So say I was running an event or for these workshops. If I was running an ad for this workshop, I would have ended it yesterday because that gives people enough time to see the ad while also having enough time to actually prepare to be here tonight, like you guys did. So you can either set a specific date, or you can set number of days. You can change the dollar amount, and it kind of caps out a number, but you could type whatever you wanted into here. You totally get to set that. And then I don't know if you guys have noticed, but as I've been changing this bar down here, the estimated number of people it would reach out to has been changing. So say, I love that amount of people that you're going to reach. I'm perfectly happy with it. Great, leave it there. Or no, I want to reach more people. This one won't actually let me pick more people or more days because the event is happening today, but normally I'd be able to select as needed. Same thing, dollar amount. So I genuinely love Facebook's advertising tools. As annoyed I am at them of making it such a play to pay game, I do appreciate that they made it so easy. You can also set your billing information and all of that farther down the page. And then on the right here, it shows you how it looks, what the text is going to look like, what the picture looks like. So nice and easy. And then all you have to do is hit boost. It'll take it a bit to analyze it, make sure it fits within their guidelines. So don't expect to be able to boost something immediately. It takes them some time to analyze it and decide yes or no, but it doesn't take I think it's within 24 hours. And if they tell you no on an ad, they usually tell you why, so you can fix it and try again. So that's the ad system. As I said, super duper incredibly easy to use. There are a lot more tools you can use, and you could get a lot more in depth. And I talked about that in the Facebook Advanced class, and I will be talking about it in the Boost class, or Beyond the Boost class as well. So if you're interested in more information about ads, please sign up for one of those classes. They're all free again, or feel free to ask in the chat. So I went over all of this. This is a huge wall of text that's just Facebook's direct quote from Facebook justifying why they don't allow images with more than 20% text to run as an ad. Again, I will be sending you these screens, so please don't make yourself try to read all of that text right now. Make sure you put the text information that you want people to know in the body of the post, not in the image. That is where people are going to go to read. They don't read on pictures. And as I mentioned earlier, the text does not just include any text you might have typed on top of it. It includes text-based logos and watermarks. So anywhere words appear on your picture, that counts as text. If you are linking in your ad to some web page, some store, or anything like that, make sure the page is fully functional and it actually matches the content of the ad. If not, that is a thing Facebook will reject your ad for because it looks like you're trying to scam people or give them a virus or something. So some helpful tools for you guys. As I mentioned, I would come back to these. Buffer, or another one you might have heard of that works really the same, is Hootsuite. These are social media management tools. So they enable you to schedule posts. You can see all of your social media accounts on one web page or app. So instead of logging into Facebook and making a post, and then logging into Instagram and making a post, and logging into Twitter and logging into Pinterest, you can do all of it from one dashboard, which is really helpful. It also helps you cross-post to all platforms with one click. So instead of making the post on Facebook and then making it on Instagram, or as Instagram lets you make a post on Instagram and then share it to Facebook, you can actually make it in Buffer or Hootsuite, and just at the click of a button, you can share it to both platforms simultaneously. They do have a free option, but there are paid options with more access, more accounts, more scheduled posts that you're allowed to do. So please feel free to poke around those. I have had people come back to me from classes that go, it's not free. It really is. Buffer, you have to sign up for an account, and it gives you a 2-week free trial. And at the end of the free trial, they ask you, do you want to upgrade? And you can say no, and you will stay on the free account. Or Hootsuite, it's not, if you hit create account, you do have to pay. But if you go to the pricing page, and then below the pricing tables, there's the link to create a free account. I'm annoyed at Hootsuite for hiding it, but that's not how they make their money, so whatever. Canva is a really great tool if you are looking to make custom graphics and images for your posts. It's very pretty graphic design for people who are not graphic designers. They have default, templates for all sorts of social media posts that you could use. And again, they have free and paid options. You can get in, design it, tweak it to be perfect for your business, and then you can download it and use it to post on Facebook or your newsletter or your website or wherever you need to. Pixabay and FreePic, the last two here, are my favorite sources for really high quality royalty-free images that you can download and use with your posts. FreePic does ask that you do with credit, and there are some that are reserved for the paid plan as well, but Pixabay is all completely royalty-free. Royalty-free means you can use it without paying it. So to recap, and I know we got through this pretty quickly, but again, you guys are a quiet group. I usually have a few more questions by now. Stop focusing on the hard sell. Social media is about connecting and communicating. Nobody goes online to be sold at. People go online to talk to each other, to learn more about your business, to be entertained, to be distracted. Make sure you're filling that need for people, and the sales will naturally follow along afterwards. Always keep in mind what motivates or interests your audience. It's great if you find it funny or cool or interesting, but unless you are funding your business single-handedly, that doesn't matter as much as making sure other people find it funny or interesting or engaging. So make sure you're responding to the needs of others. Make sure you reward people who do the best business with you, whether that's people who take time out of their day to regularly like your post or share it with their friends or comment on it. If they make their own posts and tag you in it, if they're just really great customers in real life off of the website, social media is a great place to thank those people, acknowledge them, tell them, hey, I see you and I appreciate you. Social media is a great place for that. The only way you're gonna find any success at social media is through trial and error. You can attend a billion classes just like this, and they're all over the internet, but until you try and tweak it to figure out what works best for you and your business and your audience, you're never gonna succeed. So give yourself permission to try. And more importantly, give yourself permission to fail. Just see what works for you. And the only way to do that is to give it a shot. Be creative. You can scroll the internet and find out what everyone else is doing and use that as a jumping off point. But if you only stay there, if you only ever do what everybody else is doing, you're gonna be like everybody else and nobody's gonna connect with you because that's boring and uninteresting and bland. So find some creativity in your business, in your communications, in the personality you give your business, and most importantly, have fun with it. There's only so much you can do by taking yourself super seriously and by just gritting your teeth and doing it anyway. You've got to find a way to make it fun for you, because that's how it's going to be fun for your audience and that's how they're going to respond. So find a way to have some fun. So on that note, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you guys for joining me so much tonight. I was planning to be here till 8, so this time is your guys' time. If you have questions, please feel free to put them away in the chat, in the Q&A function. I will go back into the platform. I'll show you how to do things. I'm genuinely here to help you guys. So whatever you need, please feel free to ask the questions. But at this time, if you're like, all right, I got what I needed, I'm going to go, I won't be mad about that either. So I'm going to give you guys time, as I said, but for now, thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and then I will answer some questions.